police looked at me and they were like, you can press charges as far as attempted murder, and I was like, no, I don't need to do that. I've known him my whole life. I'm going to tell you all about my senior prom when I was 5 months pregnant and my childhood best friend tried to hit me with his car multiple times. Let's talk about it. Okay, so my then at the time boyfriend, me and him were supposed to go to prom together. And so he got caught hitting a Benjamin in the bathroom, so he got expelled. But then I got him I talked to the people and bought our tickets before he got expelled. So he was on the list to be able to go to prom. And mind you, I waited till the last minute, so the tickets were $75 a piece. So I paid $150 just for the tickets, not including his outfit, my outfit, our pictures, everything. So we were going to go together. He got his name put on the list. Well, he got expelled, whatever. Nobody said anything. And then him and his grandmother had a meeting with person over detention or something. There's a word for it, but I can't find it right now. Anyway, so they go to sit with him, discipline. He's over youth, the discipline of his grade or whatever. So they go to sit with him, and then prom wasn't brought up. Nothing was like that. Everyone told me, just don't bring it up. Just don't bring it up, and he should be able to go. So she goes and talks to him. She brings it up. They take him off the list, whatever. So I'm like, punch myself in the face. Well, we still get our pictures. We still get ready. We still get our pictures and everything. Well, I asked my childhood best friend before. I said, hey, because I've known him since I was like 1. His older sister and my older sister were best friends since preschool. So me and him have known each other. So I asked him, I was like, hey, do you want to go with me? Do you want to come with me? I have an extra ticket. I don't have anybody to go with. And I talked to my boyfriend at the time, and he knew that me and him were friends and, had just been friends. So he said, yeah, you're cool if you guys go together. I'm fine with it. So me and my then boyfriend go and get our pictures made. We get pictures taken, everything like that. Everything's cool. And so we go get our pictures, and then I'm going to go pick him up. And he said that he was going to wear, or not pick him up, but we were on the phone talking about it. And he said that he was going to wear joggers and a t-shirt. And I said, not if you're coming with me. Not if you're showing up with me. Hello. I'm going to bring you a button up. So I'm going to get to his house. I'm on the phone with him. And so I pull up to his house. I hope y'all can still hear me well. And so his house is right. Don't mind the dusty table. His house, I swear to God, his house is right here. There's a road right here. There's also a road in front of his, I can use the dust. There's a house right here. The house is right here, okay? There's a road right here and a road right here. There's houses up here as well. This road keeps going on. So I'm parked right here. I don't want to pull in their driveway. Okay, this is their driveway. This is the house. I don't want to pull in their driveway because he's not there yet. He apparently had been drinking all day. I didn't know that. We weren't driving together. I didn't know, whatever. I'm getting shaky just thinking about it. So I'm parked right here. He's on the phone with me. He's like, I'm not there. I'm pulling up. So there's a road. The road is kind of like this, okay? So he pulls up. He's pulling up behind me. I'm parked. I'm looking in my rear view, and I'm going, he's not slowing down. He's going fast, really, really freaking fast. And I'm like, hey, you're going to hit me. So I put my car in drive. And I drive up here, and I pull into this little side yard because he's following me. He goes into this person's yard, hits their mailbox. Mail goes all over their yard. And then so he's over here doing the wooty-woo. I pull down back onto this road, back into their driveway. I pull in their driveway. They have 2 garages and a brick pillar in the middle. I get out. I put my car in park. He goes down the road where the house is down here, where the house is on it down here. And he's at the stop sign, and he's making his car go like this. He's like, come on, don't be a pussy. What are we doing right now? I'm 5 months pregnant with my son. What are we doing right now? What are you doing? So he's right here, he's doing whatever. And then I get out of my car, and I'm like, homie, what are you doing? Apparently he's been doing this all day because the neighbors were already outside. He had been driving like a lunatic when there's other kids driving, riding their bikes and stuff. So I'm sitting right here and in the driveway, and I'm out of my car. And he starts backing it up really fast. He's backing up really fast, and he starts backing up into the driveway and hits my car. I'm getting out of my car. So it's like, I have a video. I'll post the video. I'll show you guys. It's the Ring camera footage. So he comes back. He hits my car. My car's in park. He hits my car so hard it pushes it into their house. And that middle pillar breaks it. It's like this from my car hitting it when my car was in park. It was in park. So he hits it, and then he gets out, and I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And so they call the police. Obviously, the neighbors call the police. The police show up. Mind you, I'm still supposed to be going to prom. This is still my senior prom night. So the police get there. We're talking. We're figuring out everything. And they're talking to me, and they're like, you can press charges as far as attempted murder. And I said, it's not like that. I know him. I know we've known each other our whole lives. He doesn't act like this. This isn't normal. You know what I mean? So no, I don't want to do that. I'm hoping that he'll learn his lesson, because obviously he's getting a DUI. He smells like beer. His whole car smells like beer. So and they're saying, he tells the police officer, he said, pull the ring camera footage. Pull the ring camera footage. I don't know why y'all are so mad. It's just a fender bender. I don't know why y'all are mad. So I'm like, yes, pull the footage, please. Pull the footage. That's the footage I'm going to show you guys. And so then, you know, they do a breathalyzer. Obviously, they take him to jail. And they're wanting me to fill out a police report, everything like that. And so he went to jail. And I went to prom. And by the time that I got there, they were already, like, cleaning everything up. And so I made myself a little plate. And I sat down. And while I was eating, they took the tablecloth off the table while I was eating. And I didn't get to dance. I didn't get to do anything. That's beside the point. So, then later, after this happened, we went and saw him. Like, we wanted to go see him, because obviously I saw his older sister there too. His mom showed up. They gave me a hug. They apologized, whatever, when this is happening. And so then I go and see him after he gets out of jail, and I'm telling him everything that happened, and he says I'm lying. Like, he says it didn't happen. Like, why would I make this up? The only thing he believes is him hitting my car, because there's a video. He doesn't believe him hitting that mailbox, the fact that he almost hit my car beforehand, that I had to put it in drive, and we're going like that, like we're going ear before he hit that mailbox. So, anywho, yeah, I'll post the video, you guys.
Story time on how one of my friends invited over 2 grown men to my other friend's house to do freaky things. 7th grade, me and my friends, we were like 13, and it was my friend A and my other friend, I'll just call her G. So one night, it was a weekend, and me and G went to A's house to stay the night. Her house was like the little hangout spot. She lived with her grandma, and her grandma was literally never home, so we could really just do whatever we wanted in that house, which was not anything good. But anyways, G was honestly, like, getting with another guy every other week. I'm not even gonna lie with y'all. And it was bad, because we were 13. Like, low-key, y'all, G, low-key a victim, okay? Low-key a victim. But anyways, we all get there, whatever. We're like, real bored. We're not doing a lot. And G, she's on her phone, and she's texting this guy she's been talking to on Snapchat. And she's texting this guy who's with his friend, and they're both 18. And so she came up to me and A, and she was talking to us about it, like, he really wants to come over and bring his homie, like, can they come over, A, please, can they come over? And so basically, G wanted to get freaky with the guy. But the guy she wanted to get freaky with was with his homie, so he obviously had to come too. And A was just like, no, I don't want these grown men coming over, like, no, I don't want them coming over. But then G was like, hey, you don't understand, like, they can bring us some, you know, ALC, like, they have some. So this made A be like, I guess. And honestly, like, I was kind of just a spectator. I did not agree with it. I was like, I literally was talking to them, and I was like, I don't think we should be having some 18-year-old boys coming over right now. Like, we're 3 13-year-old girls, home alone. Not a good idea, guys. But G was trying to convince us. She was like, no, like, I know him. I've been talking to him on Snap. He's actually so cool. Like, it's nothing weird. And then G was just like, please, guys, don't be a cockblock. So, you know, we were like, whatever. And they have ALC, whatever. Like, just bring them over, I guess. Because, you know, we were just being bad little kids, I guess. Okay, guys, so something about A. She could make herself look like a man. Like, I don't want to sound rude, but she, like, had the kind of the build, and she could make herself look like a man. So basically, G invites the guys over, and they're on the way, and for safety measures, A is like, I'm gonna dress like a man so they don't try to do anything, like, and A could get scary, okay? So they're on the way, we're dressing A up like a man, whatever. She literally looks exactly like a big guy that you don't want to mess with. So we make her look all manly and scary. And the 2 guys get there. They did not have ALC though. Okay, they did not. So G basically lied to us so that we would agree to it. This makes A super mad. So A's already mad. We're all chilling in the living room or whatever. His homie's just on his phone. And then the homie that G wanted to get freaky with, you know? He's sitting on the couch and G's sitting right next to him. And we're all talking or whatever. His homie's just like on his phone being nonverbal. And A is low-key trolling, like, oh my gosh, we were laughing so hard because she was like, so what you trying to do? Like, you better not do nothing. You better not do nothing weird. This guy was genuinely getting pressed. Like, this guy genuinely thought that A was a man. He was like, bro, I'm not gonna do shit weird. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But yeah, anyways. So then, literally right in front of us, G just sits on the guy's lap. Just sits on it. And he starts getting all touchy, and like a few minutes go by. And he whispers something in G's ear, and G's like, can we go to the room? Guys, we're gonna go to the room. And A's just like, no, you're not going to my room. You're not going to my room. In fact, you and your homie need to leave. Y'all need to leave. So this makes the guy super mad, and G. G's like, why are you doing this? Why are you doing this? Also, we gave A fake name to make her sound like a boy. I'm pretty sure it was like Alex or something. So G's like, Alex, what the fuck? What are you doing? Anyways, so A gets mad. She gets up. She gets like all buff, and she's like, you gonna have to get the fuck out right now. And y'all, they actually thought she was a man. So he gets up, like, she gets off his lap, and he gets up, and he starts getting all pissed off. He's like, what the fuck is your problem, bro? Like, why the fuck did I come over here, waste my gas for what? Like, what? And then his homie stands up and gets off his phone and is like, what's going on, bro? What's going on? And A is just standing up, and she's like, no, you gotta get out. How old do you think she is? How old do you think she is? And he's like, she told me she was 16. Like, what is wrong with you? What are you doing? Mind y'all, this guy's 18, so like, even still, you thought she was 16? That's still a little weird in my book, I'm not even gonna lie. Anyways, this whole time, I'm just sitting on the couch spectating, bro. Until A is like, points at me and is like, get the fuck up, you know, still acting like a good guy, and is like, get up, we finna get these motherfuckers out of here, like, come on. So I get up, and I help A just push these guys out, and the homie that was trying to crack my 13-year-old friend, G, he's so mad. His homie just gets in the truck. Like, his homie did not even want to be there. But now we're pushing him out the door, and he's cussing out A. He's like, you want to fight or something? Like, what's wrong with you? And because, y'all, he thinks that A is actually a guy. Like, he's slow. But anyways, we eventually pushed them out, and then he drives off so fast. Like, he was so mad. He was cussing everyone out. And then G gets mad after that, and she's like, I just want to go home. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, that was not funny. Like, you just embarrassed me. He's probably going to block me now. But anyways, no 18-year-old, and got freaky that night thanks to A. And low-key, even if they did bring AOC, I don't think we were going to let anything happen, because, like, me and A, we knew that shit was not right.
As you already know, my husband and I got together because our exes cheated on us with each other. Let's talk about how we got there. Back in 2019, I dated this guy named Henry. Henry and I, to make a very long story short, we're very toxic for each other. There were cheating, arguments, jealousy, a lot of jealousy. Typical college relationship. Now fast forward, and we are actually trying to make this relationship work. Right about at the same time that he gets a job at this like small shop in our college town. Only a few people working there. Those people, her name's Michelle. He's hanging out with Michelle at work. He's talking about her more at home. Comes home with her name tag on. Like, I'm gonna stay late and help Michelle with homework. All of these weird signs that maybe Michelle and Henry are kind of hitting it off. I'm trying to stay as cool as possible. I'm really trying to make this work with Henry. The holidays roll around and things are kind of intensifying. I decide I'm gonna go home for the holidays, different state, give us some space. While I'm at home, first day that I'm at home, find out via his roommate and via tracking that he sleeps over at Michelle's house. Goodbye. We break up over the phone. January, February rolls around, and I'm getting messages from some friends out in Colorado wondering where I've been. One of my friends in a fraternity that is also the same fraternity as Henry is messaging me saying they have a Valentine's Day party coming up and seeing if I wanted to go with him as a friend. You know, let's go. I want to know if Henry's gonna bring Michelle to this party. I fly back, go to this fraternity house on Valentine's Day. We're all in outfits. It's a little date dash. Henry does not bring Michelle. We don't even didn't really talk that whole night, and honestly it ends up being the least important part of the story. He ends up not bringing Michelle, just bringing another girl, but goes straight to Michelle's house afterwards, of course. While I'm at this party, I end up seeing this guy who's off in the corner, not in costume and not really participating with everybody, and so I decided to go give him a hard time, I guess. I'm over there being like, where's your date? Your outfit? Like, it's Valentine's Day. Where's the love? It's like, well, my girlfriend and I actually just broke up. That's so awkward. I'm so sorry. Telling him, like, why'd you break up? Do you want to talk about it? We broke up because she was cheating on me. I know all about that. I got cheated on too. Like, well, do you know anybody else in this fraternity? Like, what brings you to this party? The date who I'm with, even though we're just friends. And then I actually also dated Henry. Ugh. Say the word Henry and date in the same sentence. This man's jaw hits the floor. Looking at me kind of like, I'm like, you're gonna catch flies. Is everything okay? You're telling me that you dated Henry and you broke up because he was cheating on you? I said, yeah. And he said, was he by any chance cheating on you with Michelle? Yeah, why? He's like, Michelle is my ex and we just broke up because she was cheating on me. This world colliding colossal moment happens where we just click on every single level. Crap, we just ran into the person that our exes cheated on us with each other our exes cheated on each other with us. You get what I'm saying? Immediately book it to the car. We get in his car and we go on the longest drive of our lives. We become best friends. Hanging out for the next few weeks, truly as friends. And Henry and Michelle find out and decide that we are the absolute worst people on planet Earth. Think that we are just doing this to get back at them. We're not. We truly are just hitting it off and becoming good friends. It is also really funny. They're just verbally attacking us and also at the same time kind of trying to get back together with us, which I don't fully comprehend, but whatever. Pretty much end up just saying like F you to them. We start dating. Michelle tried to get back with Henry on like a really intense level, was trying to get us to break up. It was very insane. I'll make a whole story about it if you actually want to hear about it. Wedding rolls around because we got engaged and 100% sent invitations to both Henry and Michelle. I will give a speech. I will give a toast to Henry and Michelle for introducing us pretty much. Neither of them showed up, but I wouldn't either. So that's fair. How me and my husband met. So I just wanted to come on here and share this piece of my testimony, not to glorify myself and talk about how great I am and where I'm at now, but really to show who Christ is and who he has been in the past couple years of my life, because I honestly could not have made it through some of the things that I've gone through or be where I'm at without his guidance and his mercy and his love. So yes, I am a preacher's daughter. I grew up in and out of the church 5 days a week. Anytime the church doors were open, went to every VBS possible, every church meeting, can tell you all the different books of the Bible, just about anything you want to know. I'm the oldest of 4 siblings, so I had been fed pretty much my whole life that I'm an example and I need to set the example for my siblings, for the church. And I think, being taught that and being told that has kind of played into one of my biggest fears even now in some situations, that I don't ever want to disappoint anybody or be a failure in any situation. But the story continues. Anyways, growing up being a preacher's kid, I don't want to say it was rough, but it had its moments. But anyways, fast forward, high school was probably the worst time of my life. I don't even know who I was. I was going through a major identity crisis, and I really feel bad for everybody who knew me in high school because they probably don't know me now and won't get to see that big difference. And I feel bad that they knew that part of me that wasn't me. Anyways, so my senior year of high school, I started dating this guy, and we're married now, so glory to God. And about a year into us dating, we found out we were pregnant. This was also a few months after I graduated high school. We found out we were pregnant. So you're probably like, well, Zoe, how did you tell your parents that are preachers? How did that go over? And if I can be 100% honest, I never want to relive that time in my life again. Having to tell my parents was probably the worst thing I've ever had to do in terms of having to break the news to somebody. So a month after we found out we were pregnant, we told my parents that I was pregnant, and I don't want to say that they were angry, but I knew that there was some disappointment there just because that's not what they
had planned or had wanted for me at that time. They were right to feel however they wanted to feel, because looking back at it now, I shouldn't have been participating in the activities that I was doing to create a child, because now I know why marriage is so holy and why God wants it to be in that marriage covenant. Obviously, regardless of whether you're married or you're not, you're going to have temptations, and I think that's one of the biggest temptations out there is sexual immorality and lust. And I tell people this even today. You may not think you can get pregnant, but there's always an opportunity. Always an opportunity, and it can be you. So yes, I got pregnant, and things were kind of heavy in my house for about a month. And then I think everybody kind of started coming to terms with it. I was very nervous for how the church was going to react. But I don't think I ever heard a negative thing come from the church's mouths about me getting pregnant at such a young age. I never heard a negative word. They threw me baby showers. I had people come up and randomly give me money just because they felt like God was calling them to do that. And that is like such a big blessing. I'm not gonna cry. Anyways, so 9 months later, I had Bennett, and all I can say in that moment was that everything was so peaceful and everything was so still. All the emotions that I had felt the whole 9 months of falling pregnant, and feeling like I've disappointed so many people, all just like completely went away. Oh my God, I'm not gonna cry. Anyways, I hate crying in front of people. Anyways, I'm big, I'm strong, I got this. Anyways, so, Bennett is now, he's my son. He is now 16 months old, and he is the best thing that has ever happened to me. So I just want to give this hope out to people who might be walking in similar shoes, or, is going through, being a teen mom, that the Lord is not finished with you yet. I thought he was done with me as soon as I found out I was pregnant. And I thought that there was no end in sight and that I was just at a dead-end street. But God has carried me through this whole situation and to places that I never thought I would be at. And that's not to glorify myself and A, B, and C of everything that I've done, but really a testament in who he is and what he has done for me, even when I didn't deserve it. He has been so faithful to me and to my family, even when we have fallen short and have not deserved it. And still, even today, I struggle with a lot of things, and the Lord has blessed me, and I'm like, God, I don't even deserve this, but I'm going to glorify you in this moment and thank you, because I couldn't do it on my own, So that's kind of the hope that I want to give to y'all. Yes, even now, there's rough moments in motherhood and being a college student and being married, navigating motherhood, being a wife, but with the help of the Lord, he makes all things good. And that's kind of the hope that I wanted to come and share, is that he is not done with you yet. There are people that are willing to sit and willing to listen and willing to talk. If you're struggling with the idea of making a choice on what you should do, whether you should keep a child, have an abortion, or what you should do, there are people out there who want to talk and who want to guide you. But ultimately, if you really lay down your life to the Lord and just hand everything over to him and just lay at the altar and say, you know what, Lord, I'm giving this to you, he will guide you 100%. So yeah, I hope this all kind of made sense. I don't want to record this again. So if some of it didn't make sense, so sorry. I can explain further, but yeah.
Hi. I know everyone is now talking about Alexis Harris. So let me tell you what's going on from the inside of Genesee County Jail, because I was incarcerated in there with her. I was just released yesterday, December 30th, 2025. Today is now the 31st. I get home last night and I turn the news on. Lo and behold, she's everywhere. I am like, holy crap. I didn't know the specifics of her case. I had heard a few things about some kind of abuse, but I wasn't sure. She never revealed to anybody specifically what she had done, but that she was going to be in there for quite a while. She said that she had 6 counts. Each count was a $20,000 bond. And even at 10%, there was no 10%. There was a $20,000 bond flat to get out. 6 counts, but they weren't going to let her out. From the inside, because I was in jail with her, I sat with her. I had lunch with her. Well, I sat with her during our daytime when we were out for our day room. And she's in good spirits, actually. She would laugh. She would talk. She would play cards. Um, the inmates got their commissary on Monday. And if you've never been in jail and you're not sure what commissary is when someone from the outside puts money on your account and you're allowed to buy things. Chips, cookies, soda, personal hygiene products, things like that. I gratefully thank the Lord wasn't in there long enough to actually get any of that, because I was just in there for a few weeks on a domestic issue of my own that I've taken care of now. But she had received her mother had given her quite a good amount of money on her commissary, so she ordered a lot of stuff. So on Monday she got a big commissary box with coffee and cookies and chips and soda, and she actually gave me a couple cups of coffee. I still can't believe I was actually sitting next to this woman for days. I had no idea really what she had done. I'll tell you that yesterday, Tuesday, early in the afternoon, she was called out by her lawyer to go visit with her lawyer in the hallway. I actually was sitting at the table and she asked me to hold her soda. She had an Orange Crush pop that she'd gotten, and he'd eaten some chocolate chip cookies earlier that she'd gotten on her commissary. She came back in from talking to her lawyer and she was crying. And I said, "How did it go?" And she said, "I thought you were going to be able to get out on bond or anything like that." And she just looked at me and she goes, "No." And she was crying, and she said that her children's father was trying to go ahead and get her parental rights terminated at this point, which I don't know if they can at this point because she hasn't been convicted yet. But there's supposed to be an evidentiary hearing or something like that going on. It was supposed to be yesterday and it didn't happen. Or it's supposed to be Monday and it didn't happen. So it's happening now on the 8th. And she was pretty torn up about it. But yeah, inside with Alexis Harris. I was in there with her. Like I said, her mood right now, good spirits, laughing, talking. We were making small talk about dogs and cats and animals, but she never really mentioned her kids. And when she would have her court papers out, she would always roll up the bottom so no one could see her charges, and then just like show like the top a couple things like her bond and things like that. But she would never let anyone see exactly what she had done. And I wasn't aware of the full extent of anything until I got home. Like I said, last night, turned on the news, and she is every freaking where. Everywhere. Thank God that in the jails, they don't allow the TVs to be on the news, because I don't think she'd be surviving real long. 90% of the women that are incarcerated in the Genesee County Jail are mothers. There are several of them in there for serious, serious felonies, and they're not playing. Thank God I'm out, and I'm never going back. But Alexis Harris is now looking at life in prison for what she has done. I went ahead this morning here on TikTok and I kind of looked. I searched her name. I'm mind blown. This is the same girl that I just sat with yesterday. Yesterday, I was sitting with Alexis Harris yesterday, having coffee, talking. She was sitting with another inmate that's in there for murder, playing King's Corners, playing a card game. She actually wanted me to teach her how to play spades, I think it was, because she doesn't know how. I'm dumbfounded. But from the inside, Alexis Harris right now is in good spirits. She's laughing, talking, and she was looking forward to today giving one of the girls some commissary treats to get her hair French braided. And that's what's going on. I pray to God those babies are okay. Thank God that she's where she is. She deserves to be there. And people, behave out there, you know.
I will never use Airbnb again. This weekend, I traveled out of town because I was going to be a bridesmaid in one of my friend's weddings. My husband was also standing in the wedding, so we got in. The wedding was on a Saturday. We got in on a Friday because we had the rehearsal dinner, we had everything, and some of my other friends, of course, were coming to the wedding, so we decided, hey, let's all get together. Let's get an Airbnb. It'll be fun. We'll all be together. It'll hopefully be a little bit cheaper than getting 3 different hotel rooms, so let's do it. So we found this place. It had like almost a 5-star rating, I think. It looked really nice. Fine. My husband and I get in on Friday afternoon. We get in. We just change. Don't really like look at much. I did notice like what I can only assume was like a smell of Raid. I just thought, hey, maybe they had just sprayed it or what. The air condition also wasn't on. So I thought maybe it was just stagnant. So whatever. Didn't think anything of it. We had things to do. So we went to the rehearsal. We went to the rehearsal dinner. Finally, we get back, and it's probably like 10:30 at night. We had turned on the air. The smell was still definitely there. But again, I was like, whatever, you know, maybe they had a roach or two around. So I start looking around because, like I said earlier, we had just gotten in, thrown our stuff down, and went on our way. We were part of a wedding. We have a lot of responsibilities, right? So I start looking around. I'm like noticing there's like dust all over the floor. There's like dead. I saw like a dead fly. I saw another dead bug. And I'm like, I mean, again, it was a little bit in the country, which again, we didn't know because, you know, on Airbnb, you can't see the exact location. So I was like, this is to be expected, right? We're in like the country. There's a bunch of fields around. Of course, there might be a critter or two. It's fine. So then I go to the room and I pull back the sheets just to take a look. And I see a hair, not from your head. So keep that in mind. And then, so I'm like immediately grossed out. Then I like pull it back more. I see another hair on a pillow, a long hair. Then from your head. And then I go to the other side of the bed, pull the covers back some more, 2 other hairs. And I'm like, no, these sheets were not changed. Like, it's clear that this was not, these sheets were not changed before we got here. So I'm like, I sent the Airbnb host a message. I said, hey, like, were the sheets changed? Because it doesn't look like it. She responded actually really quickly. She said, I'm sorry. It's my cleaning crew. Like, they've never done this before. Like, what would you like me to do? And, you know, I'm like, well, I take a minute because I'm like, you know what? Now I'm really going to go and inspect this house. So there's 3 bedrooms total. There's the master that my husband and I were going to stay in. There's another bed, and then 2 other bedrooms. So we go into the second bedroom and I'm like looking, our bedroom had white sheets. This bedroom has darker sheets. So I'm like, okay, even if there are hairs, I may not be able to see them that well. So I just happen to grab the pillow that's on the bed and I turn it over and it is stained. And this is like a dark blue color. So for you to see a big stain on it, that means it's pretty evident, right? And so I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, okay. So I messaged her back then and I'm like, no, the sheets are going to need to be changed because I just went into the second bedroom and there's a stain on this pillowcase. Then I'm like, well, let me go to the third bedroom. Go to the third bedroom. There's an empty water bottle sitting on the ledge right there. And I'm like, okay, again, in the grand scheme of things, like an empty water bottle, I will just throw it away. I'm not going to be nitpicky about that. But since I'm already noticing all these other things, I'm like, there's something going on. Like, nobody cleaned this house, or they cleaned it after the last person and it hasn't been rented out for, you know, like a month or something. So I'm there. She says, I will head over to change the sheets. Fine. Great. It was late. It was like I said, it was about 10:30 or 11. And I'm like, you know what? We have to be up early. We have to go get ready for this wedding, whatever. But I'm like, I'm not going to sleep like in dirty sheets. So we're there. We're waiting. My husband and I are waiting. We're waiting and waiting and waiting. And she's like messaging me back like, oh, is there anything else? Like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, like in my mind, I'm like, just get here and please change the sheets. Like, or even if there would have been other sheets in the house, I would have changed them. Again, not my responsibility, but I would have done it. Finally, it's 12:30 a.m. Mind you, I have to be with the bridesmaids to get ready originally at 7 a.m. So it's already 12:30 a.m. I get a message from her. Oh, my boyfriend is going to go change the sheets, but it's going to take him like 30 minutes to get there. So at 1 a.m., he was going to get there. And in my mind, I'm like, what if I was just a woman, like by myself? I'm sorry, but like, I don't know your boyfriend. I don't want your boyfriend to come. Granted, my husband was there, but I was just like, no, like there was a washer and dryer there. I was like, I'm just going to throw all these sheets in the dryer and just sleep on top of them and whatever. So I just told her, don't worry about it. Come and change them tomorrow. So I tell my husband, I'm like, let's gather all the sheets. So I gather all the sheets, or I'm about to start gathering all the sheets. And I move the sheet and I see something crawling in the bed. It was a tiny bug. And I'm like, oh my God, if this is mind you, we had our bags on the bed. Granted, again, I know I should have checked as soon as we got there, but I was such in a rush. We have a lot of responsibilities for this wedding. So I'm like, I'm not thinking of those things. So I'm like, oh my God, our bags have been on this bed. Like, if that's a bed bug, like, this is bad for everyone. So anyway, I go to the other side of the bed. There's more bugs crawling around. And I'm like, oh my goodness. So I get my husband. He's like, look at him. He's like, I don't think that they're bed bugs. We're like referencing photos online. Mind you, I'm also contacting Airbnb support. I also contact the lady, send videos and say, this is going on. Like, this is not acceptable. When I call Airbnb support, basically they say, oh, we need to give the host a chance to rectify it. I said, there's no rectifying this. I'm not staying at this house. I'm like obviously heated because I'm like, this needs to be, there was no sense of urgency on their end, on Airbnb's end. The lady was like, oh my goodness, I can't believe, whatever. Just, acting oblivious. I feel like you should know if there's bugs in your house. And obviously you did know, or someone knew, because it smelled like raid in there. So First Lady, I did raise my voice. I will say that on talking to the customer support. I was not degrading. I did not use profanity, nothing like that. But she hung up on me. And so then I call back, get the same exact lady. Of course, she tells me I have to reach out to the host. They have to, and I'm like, I already did that. So she's like, I'm going to send you a link to upload pictures and videos. Fine. She sends me the link. We're already off the phone at this point. So I send it back. So I send back the videos and everything. And then, so I call back because nobody's calling me. They're not taking any action on their part. I'm the one that's having to do all of this. And so I call back, and finally a different representative answers, and she's like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry that the First Lady hung up on you. Like, what can I do? And I tell her, well, I've already done these steps. She's like, okay, well, we can't transfer the case to me, so you have to talk to this lady again. But I also can't transfer the phone, so you have to call back or wait for her to call you back. And I'm like, the lady that hung up on me is going to call me back? Like, I highly doubt that. So finally I call back again, get the same lady, my original lady that hung up on me. And she's like, well, did you send in the videos? I'm like, I'm looking at my phone at this point. So that started at 12:30. At this point, it's probably like 1:15. And I'm like, yeah, I sent them 20 minutes ago whenever you hung up on me. So she hadn't even looked at the link. And this is about to run out, so I'm going to have to upload another video.
Story time of how I found out I got cheated on New Year's Eve. So I'm on vacation right now, mind you, so if you hear people talking, it's my family. But I'll go ahead and get started. So the other day, right, New Year's, I'm on vacation. I don't have service, so I don't have internet, Wi-Fi, none of that. Like, I don't have that. And we had gotten into a little fight earlier because he was drinking, and I told him I don't like drinking, and he told me that he wasn't going to drink again. And then he told me he was drinking, and he was out with his friends, and he was partying, and I was like, and I kind of got mad. I was like, what the fuck? So I was talking to him about that. I was like, blah, 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 and he's like, do you want me? Okay. He said that he cheated on me because he thought we broke up. This is because the last text I sent, he thought I broke up with him. I said, let me reread it. Okay, he was like something about, I'll just leave you alone then. I was like, I don't want you to leave me alone. I care about you, and that's the only reason why this hurts me, because I've seen this happen before to people. I don't want you to go down that road. So I said, and I was like, I should have thought about this before we got together. I thought that you would change, and you haven't, but we can work on it together. I love you. I don't really know what to think right now, but I'm going to go to sleep. And I said, I love you again. Nowhere near. I can see how, like, that's confusing, yes. But then again, I never told him I wanted to break up with him. And I literally told him I don't want him to leave me alone. Like, what? Okay, anyways, and then the next day I woke up, I snapped him because we were about to lose our streaks, and then I had to leave real quick. Like, I had no time to text anybody, like, they was rushing me out the door. We go and we're gone all day, we have plans all day today, and the Wi-Fi out here is, like, the service out here is super shitty. Like, it's really bad service. So I couldn't have Wi-Fi all day today, and I tried to hook up my mom's hotspot, and it wouldn't connect to it, so everything was just going wrong, and I didn't get to text anyone or anything all day today. Well, yesterday. Sorry, I keep pausing, but then, I didn't get to text anyone all day yesterday, and then I get back to our hotel, and I still don't have Wi-Fi, so I rigged this thing, my mom's friend's phone up, and I got her a hotspot, and then I got my phone on it, and it was barely even working, but I went to text him, and it's like, add, I was like, add? Why is it saying that? So I tap on his profile, and it says, added. It's like, what? What? Oh, that's weird. And in his bio is his ex-situationship's name. What? What? Anyways, now I'm pissed. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I go on messages and I'm texting him. He's not answering. I'm spam calling. He's not answering. Go to Instagram. I text him this long paragraph like, how could you do this? Blah, 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 blah. How could you cheat on me? Blah, blah, blah. He opens it. He goes, it's not what you think. That is all he said. It's not what you think. Anyway, so I call his best friend's girlfriend and I'm like, hey, where are they at? What is happening? She's like, I'm so sorry, Kinsey. They're at McDonald's. They done picked that bitch up and they're driving with her right now to go drop her off. Genuinely started tweaking in that bitch. Anyways, he's texting me. I'm assuming they dropped her off because then he calls me. He calls me. And he's like, let me out this fucking... And trying to talk to me. No. Anyways. And then basically, like, to make this story, like, not 20 minutes long, he was texting me saying, this is not how it's supposed to go. I'm so sorry. I love you so much. Please don't do this, Kinsey. I love you. Don't do this. Please. I love you so much. Blah, blah, blah. Like, just doing all that shit. He's like, it was a dumb decision. I should have never listened to my friends. Like, blah, blah. I was flaming him, guys. I wasn't being mean because I'm really not a mean person, and I still do have feelings. Like, I still do care about him. So I wasn't being, like, hurtful, but in the moment, I was really pissed off. So I said some backhanded comments. Anyways, all that gets said and done, I'm still going off on him until the morning. I wake up, I say, like, a couple last things to him. Done, situation done with, but then I get the bright idea. I'm gonna add the girl he's fucking with. So I add her. Tell me why she has, and I wasn't being nothing was wrong between that. I was like, hey, so he's telling me all this, that nothing happened. I knew you was with him last night. We were still together until I found out you guys was hanging out and doing stuff. So I broke up with him, but I need to hear it from you. Did anything happen? Well, she texted me and was like, yeah, he picked me up. Him and all his friends picked me up. He hugged me, kissed me, and says that he chooses me. And I was like, okay, thank you. And then she's like, honestly, like, we was together 7 months, way before you guys had your little thing. Like, I still love him and I care for him and all this other stuff. Like, anyways, and then she's like, he chooses me, blah, 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 blah. So I sent her the screenshots of him begging for me back, saying that she was nothing and that he just wanted to make me jealous, and that she was the easiest thing he could get at the moment. And I texted her, I was like, this is what he told me last night. And I was like, I'm sorry if you love him, but you deserve better, as I do deserve better too. We both deserve better. She's like, well, I just have to keep loving him until I hate him, because that's the only way I can leave him. Anyways, so that all happened, and then we proceeded to tell each other some more stuff. She was like, yeah, he's been texting me for the past 7 months. Not 7 months. Well, he's been texting me and telling me that he thinks he's made a mistake dating you. But, like, the thing is, he's the one texting me every day. He's the one taking me out on dates that I had to fucking pay for half the time because he's fucking broke. But I come back to my senses, and I think that, I don't know, I was scared about it today. Like, I look like shit today. Like, I look so bad. Because, like, I've known him for a year. When I first started messing with him, it was just, like, low-key, we was just, like, friends with benefits. Like, it wasn't nothing on serious stuff. Like, it wasn't serious. And then we started, like, really fucking with each other, and it started getting more serious. And then some shit happened with a girl. But we was never together, so I never took it like that. I was just like, alright, like, that's cool. Like, I caught feelings for you, but I'm gonna, like, step back because I don't like that, and, like, I don't want to hurt myself. So, like, you can go mess with other girls, like, that's cool, but I'm gonna stop with you. And that was that. That was fine. We have a small town, so we brought into each other a lot. We became friends again, and he added me when I went to the beach. He was with the same girl that he just cheated on me with. I didn't know he was with her at the time, but he was, like, with her, but telling me that he loves me so much and he wants to try again. I found out he was with her, and I was like, bro, you're weird as fuck for that. Like, I'm not trying to fuck with you like that. And he was like, please, I love you. Essentially, like, telling me the same thing he apparently just told her a little bit ago. Anyways, but the thing that I did, though, I blocked him. Well, I didn't block him, I unadded him, and I never spoke to him again until I went to this party city, and guess who I had to hang out with? I did not know I was hanging out with him until we pulled up, and he was there, and we had to go walking around with him, and it was so fun. Like, it was so fun. He was single. It was so fun. We was having so much fun, like, all the time. And then I added him back like a dumbass and got together with him, and he cheated on me on New Year's. And instead of watching the fireworks, or watching the ball drop, I did watch it, but I was bawling my eyes out like a baby.
Okay, the story time y'all have been waiting for so impatiently. It's fine, I know, I would want to know too, but this is the only chance I have to tell you guys without my kids interrupting, so I need to go get gas. I'm driving, don't worry, I'll be safe because I don't need to really look at you, I just need to talk. Friday morning, August 1st, is when this happened. I was getting ready to go can peaches with my sister at her house, and our grandma was also coming with us. So my grandma had arrived at my house at like 8 in the morning. We had to run to my mom's house, grab some jars that were in her basement, so I went along with my grandma so that she didn't have to go up and down the stairs. I grabbed the jars, put them in my grandma's car at my mom's house, and then went back to my house. When I got back to my house, my grandparents left, said, see you at Shelby's house. That's my sister. See you at Shelby's house. We're gonna go. I still needed to get dressed for the day and grab the things that I needed to bring to this little canning day that we were going to have. In the meantime, I let my dogs out the back door, and I go to my closet with my baby girl, who's 9 months old, to go find something to wear for the day. I'm in my closet, just let the dogs out, went to my closet. I hear banging at my front door. I more like felt the banging at my front door. It was like boom, boom, boom. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I'm like, oh, I can't do anything around here without somebody needing me. I'm thinking it's just my grandparents forgot something. I throw something on so I'm decent, right? Because I don't really know who it is. I come out to the living room, and this lady is, oh my gosh, where'd you go? I come out to the living room, and this lady is already in my house. And I recognized her. I knew who she was. I'll just say her name because it's not like you're gonna know who she is. This Sandy is her name. Sandy comes in. Sandy is in my house, okay? And so I wasn't really startled because I was like, oh, it's just like my mom's little old lady friend from her Bible study. So nothing to fear here. Just wondering why you're in my house, and like you didn't even wait for me to answer the door, whatever. So I say, can I help you? And she immediately starts yelling. Oh, by the way, the dogs run in front of her. Both of my dogs run in front of her. And she's like briskly walking through my house. And I say, can I help you? She immediately goes off on me. And she's like, okay, warning, there's swearing and profanity because that is what she said. She goes, you asshole, what's the matter with you? You need to take better care of these dogs. They were running out in the road. People were swerving and honking their horns. I almost hit a milk truck, whatever she was saying, and this whole bunch of stuff. And I'm thinking, I had just let them out seconds before there was banging at my door. If there was swerving and honking in this big thing happening, I would have heard it. Okay, the street is like right in front of our house. And I will not deny, my dogs very well could have been near the road, on the road. I will not deny that. I don't know. But it is unlike them to just stand in the middle of the road and cause havoc. Like, they're smart. They're bird dogs. I won't deny that they weren't in the road, because I know if they smelled something, they want to track it. They want to hunt. That is what their breeds are. So I won't deny that. But her coming into my home and then saying what she said, she called me the B word as well. And I have tears in my eyes. I've never been spoken to like this in my entire life. My gas is pumping. I had never been spoken to like that in my entire life. I barely got in trouble in school. My parents did not speak like that growing up. I did not grow up in a household where we were swearing at each other and yelling. Nothing like that ever. I was just like shocked that this old lady had that in her, and the fact that she was from my mom's Bible study. That's how I knew of this lady. That's how my mom knew this lady. I was just like appalled. I was like, okay, you're lying, and yeah, the Lord's gonna deal with you for that. But I was just, that ain't even the worst part. So I'm crying. I literally told her, I said, I'm sorry. Oh, my gas is done. I said, I'm sorry. I was in here taking care of my baby. Like, that's what I said. And I was like, and I'm pregnant. Like, I was 8 months pregnant at the time. And she looked at me and she put her finger out like this and she pointed at my baby. And I'm not going to say it, but she said, F that baby. And that's when I really started to cry, because pregnancy hormones, new mom, life situations going on, and I had already been like hard on myself. Am I enough? Yada, 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 and the emotional stuff. And I really started crying then, because I was like, how could you say that? I was literally like clutching my pearls like, ah, what is wrong with you? And that's when I started to shout, and I said, okay, you need to leave. And she was not, the whole time she was talking, she actually took a step forward, and it crossed my mind. I was like, am I going to hit this old lady? Do I need to push her out of my house? Because I didn't want to. She honestly looks frail, like one push and her hip is broken. That's how she looks. Like, she's a frail old lady. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, I don't want to hurt her, but at the same time, I'm like, step up, Kyle, like, get away from me. Get out of my house. How dare you speak to me like that? At one point, she brought my mom into it. She looked at me and she was like, who even are you? And I was like, I'm Sadie, Michelle's daughter. Like, I live here. And she's like, you don't live here. You pay rent. And I was like, okay, I don't even pay rent and I do live here. So, like, what are you trying to say? And she's like, well, I'm calling your mom. I can't believe you were so stupid, idiot, the B word, the A word, F that baby, all these things in my own house on a Friday morning in the middle of the summer. After I was like yelling at her and telling her to get out of my house after she said F that baby, I said, okay, that's it. You need to get out. And I was pointing to the door, and she kept talking. I don't even know what she was saying. I was just trying to focus on, like, getting this lady out of my house, because I'm really crying at this point, really upset. My daughter's hearing all of this. Not that she really knows what's going on, but, like, she was getting to the point where she loved people watching and loved looking at people's faces and would smile a lot and giggle and start to talk and wave. She didn't do any of that. She was silent. The dogs were silent. They love people. They would be excited and happy that people are here. They went right into their little pen that I have for them. I closed it. Everybody was silent, and this lady was just yelling. The baby knew, the dogs knew something was not right. They were like scared. I felt bad about that. And so I'm yelling over her, and I'm like, you need to get out. She finally turned around and walked to the door, and I was And I was like, I'll get the door for you. And I opened the door. She's still yelling at me while she's walking out. I close the door in her face. She's still yelling. I pulled the shade of the window down right in front of her face, and she's still yelling. And she finally turns around and gets in her car and leaves. And I'm like, thank God. Thank God. Part 2, because I don't have enough time. Stay tuned. I'll tell you everything that happened in court.
The early bird gets the worm. The early bird gets the worm. Okay, well, it's noon, and I just watched a bird eat a worm. The birds that wake up at noon are still getting worms. I've eaten plenty of worms in my day, and I've never woken up before 10. Someone just watched me do that.
I made myself a pick-me-up coffee for this afternoon because y'all need a part 2. I'm in my closet. My kids are napping, and if they hear my voice, they're going to think it's time to party, and I'm not ready for that. So, part 2. We get to the courthouse. You have to go through all the metal detectors. They get to this back sitting area. That is where Sandy is. She's here already. I saw her car in the parking lot, and right away I was like, oh my gosh, here we go. So my mom drove me, actually, and my husband's in the back seat, and I'm like, oh my gosh, there's Sandy's car. And my mom's like, yeah, you're right, that is her car. I'm getting nervous. This is the first time I'm seeing this lady since this all happened. So I feel like some things are coming back. I'm getting a little nervous, not sure what they're going to ask me or what I'm going to say. See Sandy, we sit down behind her. I don't make eye contact. She says my mom's name. I think she says, hi, Michelle. My mom doesn't say anything, but it was kind of quiet. Or she said, oh, Michelle, or something like that. My husband and my mom and I sit behind her. It's awkward because she brought this guy with her that is also old. I don't know who he is. Time to go into the courtroom. So this lady police officer comes out to get us through another metal detector and check bags again. She asks if I was the victim, and I said yeah. She asked if I'm comfortable with this Sandy, and I was like, no. So she goes, okay, you stay by me then. And I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, like, it felt so serious because this officer is in the full getup. She's got the GUN on her hip. She's got a taser. She's got the vest, everything. She's decked out, okay? This feels like super official, and I'm like getting more nervous. I stick with her. Crazy lady's ahead of us. She enters the courtroom first. When we're about to go in, the officer, she tells us where to so that she can see both Sandy and I, and that she's closer to me in case Sandy were to do anything or I'm uncomfortable, which I didn't expect. First person to get called to the stand is the local officer, the one who was handling our case, the one who gave all the papers and charges to Sandy, and who I had spoken to on the phone, who I had filed the charges or complaints with. So he takes a stand first, which it was nice to see like an example of how I'm supposed to do it because I had to go next. So he like gives his statement, and then I get called to the stand and I tell the story, which was part 1 of what happened. And the lady who's like asking me the questions, I asked her, I was like, do you want me to repeat word for word what she said because it's not nice? And she goes, yep, repeat everything that she said. So I said it all out there in court in front of everybody. Never made eye contact with Sandy just because it's just uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't want to look at you. And then Sandy takes the stand. Oh my gosh, was that rough to watch because it was like not clocking to her. She went off on tangents about random things, about like her cousin dying and all this and trying to make excuses. And her biggest thing was that she is a caregiver, and she had been at our house once before to take care of my parents' clients. They have 2 clients with disabilities. She'd been to this house I knew of only once before. Apparently she's been here twice before to take care of them for 1 hour while we went to dinner. Okay, so she's been in our house for 1 hour before, and somehow that gave her the right to enter the home because as a caregiver in an emergency situation, she can enter the home and make sure everything's okay. There was no emergency situation. Tom and Rosie weren't even in the house, and nobody needed saving, and the judge was like, You had no reason to go into their house. And she was explaining all these things, and she said she had to triage everyone. She said she triaged both dogs, me, my unborn baby, my baby, and then Tom and Rosie, herself, all this. But then she also said she was only inside the house for 10 seconds. And so the judge was like, so you triage 9 people in 10 seconds? And she's like, yeah. And everything just made no sense. And then her story for how she described me, the whole time she's talking, the judge interrupted her like twice and was like, get to the point. He was so fed up with her. I was like, this is bad. She was saying that when she came in the house, everything was so dark, she didn't see or know what was going on. It was 9 a.m. in the summertime. The lights weren't on because they didn't need to be on because the sun is out and the house is lit. She's like, the shades were drawn, everything was... And I'm like, I remember pulling the shade down after you left. So the shades were up. Why would you, if it was dark, why would you enter the house? Anyway, the judge is getting upset. He was like, just tell me what happened when you were in the house. That's the only thing I need to know. She was like, okay, I saw this, it was all dressed in black and it was scary, and this tall figure, and it was coming around the corner. And I'm thinking, is it describing me? Why is she describing me as a demon? I'm 5'2". She's saying I'm dressed in black. Why is she making me sound like I'm some big scary demon coming around the corner of my house? Like, you entered. She was saying that I came around the corner and there was this thing looking into her eyes, and she realized it's the toddler. Why would I be holding my 9-month-old baby up, staring down, looking into her eyes? And she said that I came out yelling at her. What? Guys, it took every fiber of my being not to bust out laughing. I was trying to keep a straight face because I didn't want to be caught laughing, being like, I'm not taking it seriously. So I'm back there like, oh my gosh, how rude. She called me big. Everything she was saying was so contradicting, and the way she described like me and the baby was just so weird. And to hear my story and then her story, everyone in the courtroom was like, what? The judge was just like so unentertained and unimpressed. She gets done speaking and she goes and sits back down at her like defendant stand. By the way, she brought a stack of papers. So when we first got into the courtroom, she sits down, she's filing through her papers. I can see it in the corner of my eye, and I'm like, Mom, she has a bunch of papers with her. And my mom's like, what the heck? I'm getting nervous because I'm like, does she have evidence? What is going on? And then she tried to present those papers to the judge. She tried to bring them up to the witness stand. She was like, can I bring my papers? And he's like, no, there's no reason for you to bring papers. She's like, well, I have diagrams. And he's like, if I see fit to need to see those papers, I will let you know. Leave the papers there and go to the stand. He was already upset because she was like, I need my papers. Respect or go to jail, basically. And she almost did. So she's sitting back down with all of her papers in front of her, and she's trying to plead her case of why it was okay for her to go in the house. And she has literally, the judge was roasting her over and over again. I could not keep a straight face. The person who was typing everything of what everyone was saying kept making eye contact with me, and I kept being like, oh my god, don't laugh, because I thought she was gonna write that and be like, Mrs. Pollock is in the back row laughing, and I'd be like, oh, I don't want it to make it not her get charged because I'm acting a fool in the back because she's being crazy, and it's honestly comical. She's got this paper and she's waving it, and she was like, it is standard protocol to go in somebody's house in an emergency. And he's just like, ma'am, there was no emergency. Stop with your printouts from Google. That's not the law. Low-key cracking up because that's exactly what she had printed out. She's like, I have diagrams of the house. She's literally been there 2 times for an hour, and she's like, I've watched these guys for hours and hours. She tried to say that she's my parents' employee, and she's like, they paid me. My mom's like, I didn't pay her a dime. She literally came and sat on our couch for an hour because legally Tom and Rosie cannot be left alone, which she didn't even have. There was no caregiving to be given. Literally just need to be in the home in case of anything. So that's the only thing she's ever done there. He kept being like, ma'am, you are not their employee. That does not give you the right to enter their home. It sounds like you babysat twice for them, and that's all that was. Obviously, his end conclusion was that she was guilty, and I actually got $55 for showing up to court, and like she had to pay that witness fee, like a check for $55. I'm like, you know what? That's gonna help me go get my hair done because you put me through some bullshit. Yeah, it was wild. She had the audacity while he was talking to raise her hand, and he was like, put your hand down. It literally, I was like, whoa. I like looked away and I was like, this is serious. And he was like, you interrupt me one more time and I will put you in jail. I was like, holy cow. And then the lady officer grabbed her by the shoulder and kind of like pulled her back and was like, you need to listen to what he's saying. I was like, I'm literally about to watch her get arrested in this courtroom. Overall, this experience was actually like really fun. I thought I was going to be more nervous when I was on the stand, but the whole truth and nothing but the truth, and that was the truth. So I really wasn't nervous about saying what I had to say. I love true crime and stuff like that, so being in a courthouse was kind of fun, but also very strange that this whole thing happened in the first place, because how bizarre. This whole thing is bizarre. Everything she was saying was bizarre. She got totally roasted and almost arrested. Any other questions, feel free to ask. I'll make little clips or videos of your comments or try to get back to you in the comments, but hope you enjoyed this story time of what happened at the courthouse with Sandy. So yeah, she's nuts. Lock your doors and make sure you know where your pew-pews are.
Oh my god. Are they okay?
You got a cigarette and a goddamn lighter!
Get ready with me while I tell you another bizarre interaction that I had with a local. This person is actually from my hometown, and he graduated 6 years before I did. So I know who he is, and I just think it's hilarious. This took place at my friend's graduation party, okay? It was at a local bar on Main Street in the town that we grew up in, okay? So I get to this party, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna see a lot of people that I went to school with here. So this is either gonna be awesome or totally awkward and embarrassing. Turned out to be pretty awesome, minus this one situation that happened, but it was honestly just so funny that it didn't like ruin the night. A little bit of a backstory before we get to the main event. This guy was not invited to this party, but he showed up at the bar because this is a local bar and it's a public place. So he just ended up being at the right place at the right time, I guess. More like I ended up being at the place at the right time. The only way I can describe this guy is he peaked in high school, okay? I'll just say it. That's the only way that I can describe him, and then you should get the vibe. So he peaked in high school. He still lives in this town, which there's nothing wrong with that, except I feel like he doesn't contribute anything. That's so mean. He's a year older than my oldest sister. My older sister was really good friends with his high school girlfriend. So that's how I know him, and that's how I think he might know me. He walks past me. I'm standing next to my husband. He walks past me, and he looks at me and he goes, no way. And I'm like, I'm not who you think I am, because everyone says that I look like my older sister and that we look so much alike. So I'm thinking, okay, he thinks I'm Shelby. He thinks I'm my older sister. He doesn't know that I'm Mercedes. So he looks at me and goes, no way. And I'm already giggling because I'm like, he doesn't know who I am. And he goes, Ashley? And I'm like, no. I was immediately like, bruh, you're way off. Okay, that's not even my sister's name. You think I'm somebody else completely not in my family, totally unrelated. Right away, my husband's already giggling like, what is going on here? I'm not Ashley. I am Sadie. I'm actually Shelby's younger sister. And she's like, oh, Shelby Hurst. That's our maiden name. We're both married now. And I was like, yeah, I'm Mercedes. Everyone calls me Sadie, but I tell him I'm Mercedes because that's how he would know me. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna embarrass myself with his reaction, but I have to do it for you guys because I had to live through this moment, and now you're going to as well. He goes, I can't. He goes, Mercedes Hurst, you're like the sexiest car in the funeral parking lot. I was like, oh my gosh, this is not happening right now. That laugh, I could not keep a straight face. I was like, I had secondhand embarrassment for him. My husband busts out laughing because he's like, who says that? You're the sexiest car in the funeral parking lot. That's what he told me. And I didn't know whether to take that as a compliment or what, because that was just so, again, off the wall from a local who seemed to be honestly a little like high or something, because he would, the way he laughed and the way he just thought it was the funniest thing in the world, I was like, this is not normal. This is not how normal people act. Thinking the whole time, I'm like, this is why we don't go out, because you're unhinged. That's not even it. I introduced my husband to him. I'm like, yeah, this is my husband, Stefan. And then he goes, oh, Stefan likes Stefan. Just like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Like, what? They shake hands. Out of nowhere, he goes, good thing I didn't call you Steven. Oh my gosh. Seriously, I have never experienced anything quite like that laugh. It was just so bizarre. At the end, he like told me to tell my sister hi, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this is gonna be so hilarious to tell back to her. And the way he like connected my sister with him was, oh yeah, she was really good friends with my high school sweetheart. I'm not gonna say her name because I'm not gonna bring her into this, because she's actually so nice and so sweet and gorgeous and pretty. I'm thinking like, why are you still talking about her? She was the best thing that ever happened to you. Everybody knows he peaked in high school. He's crazy. He definitely seemed like he was high or something, because wow, that was rough to experience. And then he was finally like, well, you guys have a good rest of your evening. And we're like, yeah, thanks, you too. And he walked away to go play pool. And then I went by some of my high school friends and was like, oh my gosh, I just had the strangest interaction with so-and-so. And they were like rolling their eyes like, oh my gosh, what did he do now? There's probably like so many stories of this guy, because he just does and says the most bizarre things that everyone is just like, why are you still here? Apparently I am the sexiest car in the funeral parking lot because I am a Mercedes Hearst. I need to tag my friend whose party this was, because I don't even think I told her what happened. I was telling her sister, this is what happened at your engagement party. We were trying to enjoy ourselves and were rudely interrupted by somebody who wasn't even supposed to be there. So funny that that was my experience at the first and only engagement party that I have ever been to, and people from my hometown are probably gonna know exactly who I'm talking about just based on that interaction and the fact that he peaked in high school. So honestly, I feel like if he saw this, he wouldn't even be mad, because he'd probably just laugh. Be like, yeah, I said that and it's still funny. That, or he wouldn't even remember that interaction even happened because of the state that he was in at that night. Besides that, I had a freaking blast. I want to do it again, probably because I don't get out much. Congrats to the happy couple, and hopefully our little local crazy can get some help. Well, thanks for listening to my little story time, and get ready with me about another crazy local. Bye.